All right, good day, everybody, and welcome to our webinar, Mobile Devices and Consent, Building Trust with Your Victims and Your Witnesses. I'm Rich Frawley. I am the Director of Training here at ADF Solutions. I have been with ADF Solutions about 7 years, and that's after my 23-year career in law enforcement. 17 of those years were as a forensic examiner and investigator, specializing in all types of crimes and investigations. But we also did a lot of work with our local Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, which is where my unit got its original funding. So it was great. It was hard to leave, but then made the change here to ADF Solutions. A little bit about ADF Solutions. We've been around since around 2005. Started out in the image identification field, quickly moved into the triage field. For all of you who have been doing this for a long time, Linux-based boot disks and triage. And then we made a major change about 7 years ago when I came on to Windows-based and a lot more. Now we've added mobile, we're triage, we're lab-based, we're mobile, and with a lot of our last year and a half, we've added screenshot screen recording preview. So what we're going to cover here today is that portion of our tool. And it's great for victims, witnesses, and consent type situations. So we're going to go over a little bit of that. I'll get over to our agenda here in a minute. I do have with me Elsa. She has been with ADF around 10 years, and I'm going to let her do her introduction, and she will be doing a lot of the talking with you today.
Thank you very much, Rich. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are. As Rich says, I've been with ADF for almost 10 years now. I'm Director of Customer Success, which basically means Head of Technical Support for anyone that isn't used to American titles. I've started in digital forensics back in 1995 when I was working with the Serious Fraud Office, and yes, I am very, very old. Since then, I worked in private practice as a consultant, and then in the early 2000s, I went to work for Northamptonshire Police, small police force in the UK, and it was brilliant job. We didn't have the amount of data and the amount of devices that are around today. I specialised in assisting with managing sex offenders, as I was quite aghast when I first got there that orders were being made by judges, but nobody was actually checking up on it very efficiently. So ADF came along at that point, and we were actually the first force in the UK that used a tool to electronic or manage our service users' digital devices, shall we say. And I'm, quite passionate about helping people manage sex offenders in the community, or, use our tools as well to identify sex offenders. And, people also use it for frauds and murders and stuff like that. It's a pretty versatile tool. But as Rich says, we're going to talk to you today about the features that we have when you're having to deal with people's mobile phones that they don't want to hand over, they don't want to be without, and they contain an awful lot of information. So back over to you, Rich.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure some of you on here have met Elsa before, and great to work with. We've got a great relationship working back and forth. We're on each side of the pond here, so different time zones, but work together. And every time that she happens to cover for me, all I hear is, can you have Elsa answer the phone next time I'm calling, rather than you, Rich? So
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, she absolutely will take care of you when you're any issues with our tool. But what we're going to go over today, so victims, witnesses, these consensual situations, reluctant reluctant victims. I have this information, but really don't know if I want you looking at everything on my phone. I don't know if I want to hand everything over. A lot of issues. We're going to be a little bit more UK specific today, um, but when it comes to the legal process, if you've captured everything in a phone, that's information that may come up later in discovery or in court. So building trust, getting to that information, being transparent. We're going to show a form, I believe, that shows some of the information that you now have to fill out in order to get this information done. The steps needed to be successful in utilizing Mobile Device Investigator R tool or Digital Evidence Investigator Pro to capture what's necessary. We're going to actually show you the phones, how they get connected, how you can control the situation, how you can put your victim or your witness at ease, and make sure that you're getting what you need and getting it the right way. So the end result is it sticks, right? That what you got is solid and there's not going to be any information. So would you like to start out with the form here?
Yeah, let's show the DPNA form. This is an example from Police Scotland. I know we have, I live in Scotland, hence that's why it's here. We do have slightly different legislation in Scotland, but it's going to be pretty similar to the sort of forms that most UK or all UK police forces have to be using, I guess. In the future, we would like to have this form incorporated in our software, so you can actually input the information into the software, get your detective inspector or above to sign it, and then process the phone straight away off the back of this. But
yeah, I'm
sorry,
noticing
Rich,
here in
go
the
ahead.
top you have your device details, and once you get the phone connected, we'll show you how this information can automatically take it with a screenshot screen recording, and that'll be recorded not only on here if you're doing it first manually, but when you get to it, you'll be able to back that information up as well. You can see the form, right, Elsa?
Yep, I can.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So you were talking about some of the things that have to be done in order to get before you even connect the phone, and I imagine that some of this is
yeah, in the UK, since the Beta James Mohammed ruling or the Court of Appeal case in 2020, people there are basically four. Everybody knows, so I apologize if I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but there are four principles for extracting data, and I'm desperately looking for what they are. So you have to properly identify when it's necessary to seek details from people's digital devices, and it has to be reasonable. Do you actually have to look at their mobile phone? And then if you do, we've got to be as what's the word, not too obtrusive at all. And we've got to give them minimum inconvenience to the victim or the witness, and we have to tell them what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and give them the option to learn what will happen if they refuse. We're not allowed to say things like we'll drop the case if you don't continue. I don't know what happens in America, Rich, perhaps you can elaborate.
yeah, we've had consent has been around for quite a long time. Not as stringent as the rules that you have come up with, the principles that need to be followed, but very similar. You need to get the consent, the informed consent, which we'll go over here in a second, voluntary, informed, and let me actually get here. There we go, voluntary, informed, and capacity, right? So you need that you need to tell them exactly what you're looking for on the phone and what you're planning on taking. It's still here where, you know, you sign off on a form and you just list the phone, and depending on where you are. So that's a difference here too. We have 50 states, and each laws may be different in each jurisdiction that you're in. Pretty similar, but, you know, different in the way it ends up. So similar, but I think these these three are exactly the same as here. So as you were saying, you either have to agree to it or not, and freely made. No coercion, pressure, or influence, and that would be that. Well, if you don't give me your phone, I can't solve your case. That's just undue pressure. Informed, given that information about what you're taking, the rights, what their rights are. They can refuse, they could withdraw, and they're going to sign to that. You can't do anything until all this is done. And of course, they have to have the capacity. You have a victim or a witness or somebody who's, you know, at the stage of almost blackout drunk. This is not the time to be having them sign a legal document.
Tempting though.
Yeah. So with that, once you have all that, you know, it comes down to, or once you're getting all this, it's the buzzword has been compassionate policing. That's been the buzzword for the last whatever. It started around the time I think I was getting ready to retire, maybe even a little bit before. And that term kind of bothers me because it comes from a point that police didn't have compassion to begin with. It's all something we're brought up with, we're taught, you know, in our formative years, but also covered in the academy. I like to put it as, you know, who's that person sitting across from you? It could be your, you know, family member, right? A good friend. So treat them like you would treat that your grandmother sitting across from you. So working with the victim and not against. If you could just go over a couple things, I'm going to bring up Digital Evidence Investigator, where we investigate mobile devices. But if you were to have this form filled out, can you explain how would you make your victim or witness feel a little bit better here? You've got them sitting down and you bring up the tool and you say, okay, we're going to start doing stuff. What do you think would make them feel better?
Me personally, I would like to say to them, particularly if they're fairly reluctant, they hold the phone. I would say, look, what we're going to do, I've got my trusty iPhone 12 here. It's quite big. It's got 128 gig of data. It's packed full. I've had iPhones since the year dot, so I've got messages on here going back to about 2009, and not all of them will be terribly complimentary, so I might not like everybody to see all this sort of stuff. There's personal information in there, or, you know, all my banking and stuff like that, and all sorts of photos and what have you, and internet searches. I would be quite reluctant, and I would, you know, I would say to the person, right, I'm going to give you a cable, and I'd like you to connect that cable to my computer. Everything that I'm going to be doing, you're looking at. Anything that you've got an issue with, you can just say stop. So the first thing I would do is open screen recordings and screenshots. So Rich, you're going to do
Yep.
that?
Here we go.
So just pretend this is a Google Pixel that Rich has got connected.
I've actually got two phones here. Which would you like to start with, Android or iOS?
Yeah, do the Android. That's always nice. Yeah.
And I'm just going to add here, we have a wizard that will help walk you through the process if you've never connected somebody's Android phone. So you don't need to be, you know, 100%. You've learned it once, you've done it twice. It's been a month since you've connected a phone. You forgot how to change some of the settings to get it to connect. We're going to walk you through the process here. So easy peasy. And if if you have any
Absolutely.
issues, that's where a call to Ailsa comes in.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, once the phone's connected, we hit proceed. And I would simply say at this point to the witness or the victim, there you go, Rich is showing you that that is what is shown. Whatever is shown on the phone is what's being shown on the screen in the left-hand side there. I would simply say to them, you show me the information on the phone that you are happy to share with me. So if, for example, you're the victim of a sexual assault and you met this guy through Kik or Tinder or something like that, just go to Tinder and open that, move to his message, and let's get screenshots of that message. So I don't know, Rich, whether you can do that on your test phone.
I can. So from here, you can see as starting as me as the operator of the tool, I'm not touching the phone. We have the victim feeling really comfortable and they're going to manage it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say before I do anything, I'm going to make some, I'm just going to make maybe some groups to put this in. So when we're all done, like if I just wanted to take a screenshot of this date and time that I started it, you can see here, this is the date. Beautiful weather right now here at 9:17 in the morning.
That's very hot for Scotland, let me tell you.
So I just hit the screenshot button there below, and you can see now I've memorialized what was on the screen here. We also, if you would like, you can record this whole session as well. So there's a screen recording button here, and now everything I do is being memorialized in a video as well. And I can take screenshots while the video is running. There are two features that get turned off. I'm going to shut the video off here while we're doing this, just so I can show some of the other features here. But you can see I'm playing the video there over to the right. And you can also delete anything if you happen to capture something. Okay, so I happen to open up Google Chrome by mistake and take a screenshot, and they're like, "Whoop, I didn't agree to that." We have the delete button, and you can delete that screenshot. So I'm sorry, I went off a little off track, and you were mentioning before. So
let's open it. You as the user of the phone, this is your phone.
Yep.
You've got Kik on there, for example. Yep. Let's go and have a look.
So I can take a screenshot to show, hey, there it is on the screenshot. You can say, hey, I just want to show that you had Kik and it was on your phone and it was here on where it is on your phone. It makes it easier to explain it to a judge, maybe. Make them feel at ease as to why you're doing this. So, all right, I'm going to open up Kik.
Yep.
And it's a free version, so excuse anything that may pop up here. I'm going to try to get into the chat version there first.
Yep, and then let's just say you're going to go in and highlight the I see that you're going to group all those by Kik, very sensible. But if you go into one of the chats, the chat that is of interest, there we go. And you're at the bottom of the chat because that's the way it goes. We have the auto scroll and capture feature, which is brilliant. One press of a button and we're going to move up the chat, capture all the pictures, and it's all there, as you can see, in the display pane. And you can either, we have auto, this only works on Android devices, I'm afraid, because Apple are a bit more awkward, but we can auto scroll up and auto scroll down. So if you've got even 1,000 pages worth of WhatsApp or Kik or whatever, you just press one button and it will do it all for you.
Yeah, no need to try to figure out how many you're going to need. It's just hit the button and it'll auto scroll for you. Now over to the right, managing the tool, you can see here, there's my scroll up and down, and then or up, and then this one was down. So 8 pages on both of them, and we've memorialized that. One of the nice things here too, you're dealing with a victim, and we don't know who this person is possibly. Who do I need to figure this out through some sort of legal process? So if I click on that person's name, now I have their actual user profile information from Kik, and I can memorialize that as well. And very easy to explain. Hey, this is how I'm going to, look at catching this person and locking it into who it is that sent this or who was talking to you. Making sure we have the right person. So again, very easy to work with your victim and make them feel comfortable about what you're taking.
And then once basically you've captured all the pages that you want to capture that you think are going to help with the case, or all the pages that your victim or witness is prepared to give you, you then have a choice. You can either acquire the phone, the handset, so that is, you're then going to make a backup of the phone and get all the data from it that you can. Or if the phone owner isn't happy for you to do this, the only thing they're prepared to let you do is have that screenshot and that short video. You just hit finish, and that will be the only evidence that you've got from that phone.
Yeah.
So,
and then we'll process that. And
yeah,
I'm just going to go one step a little bit further here. I mentioned it before. So if you can get your user to say, hey, go to settings, and I want to go to my system information. Or nope, I know what I wanted. I wanted my about phone information.
about phone, yeah.
Yeah. So I can come in here and look at all the information needed that may have been asked on that first page. Build number, the version, there's the IMEI number. So again, I can either scroll this, or I can do individual screenshots of each page. But now I have my settings just to back up what was put on that form. Never hurts to back up what you're filling that form out, just showing it, and comments. I am a big put a comment in. Why did you take this picture? Because we all know you may not look at this. You may do 50 other cases before you have to look at this again, and you won't remember why I took a picture or why this says image not available, or where your thought process was. So comments. And the nice thing about our tool is if you missed a comment here, we'll show you when this is processed. You can also add comments to your images, your screenshots as well. So mentioned, we're here. Just a couple more things about the tool, ease of use. Victim can control the phone themselves. If you need to do something in this user interface window with my mouse, I can also control this device if I need to. And if it's a touch screen, we can touch the screen and also control the tool. So I'm going to finish this. Acquisition is complete. I'm going to select OK, and it brings us back to the main page. So simply, we would just go in and treat this like we made an acquisition of a phone. We're going to go into our scan screen. We're going to add that acquisition, and we're going to scan it with one of our search profiles, which is the basic. It's your set of instructions on what you want to get out of what your acquisition. In this case, it's screenshots, and it's going to process it. And we'll go through that in a couple minutes. So walk me through. I am a victim here. And I have a brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max with the latest iOS 16.
Oh, very nice. You're obviously a very rich victim.
I've been rich my whole life.
Oh, good.
Hasn't done anything for me.
Right. Well, good news. We can get screenshots and screen recordings from iOS 16.6. That's the most recent up-to-date version. We can get those, no problem. I understand you can't get those with GrayKey or Cellebrite. Don't know about XRY, but it is iPhones, iOS is a different kettle of fish. They're a lot more harder to negotiate with, shall we say, as in, getting our computers or getting a computer to handshake with an iPhone can be quite awkward, and certainly, more technically adept firms are struggling with it. So screenshots and screen recording is the way to go. with any really modern phone. And also, my phone here is 128 gig. It's pretty full. I've got 160,000 messages on there. That takes us, 25 minutes, our software, to sort of back it up, and then it can take up to an hour if I want to process pictures as well. That phone that you've got, Rich, is probably going to be, what, 8 times bigger than my phone? So it's going to hold 8 times more data. You really don't want to be sitting around for 4, 5, 6 hours, I wouldn't have thought, trying to get information or just waiting for the phone to back up. Whereas with screenshots and screen recordings, it can be done, really quickly.
Yeah.
So you got your phone.
Yep, and here we still have the wizard. It helps you connect this iOS device. So if you're not, used to it, there are decisions, and I didn't go over this on the Android when you're in here. You have this first one is not a rule to get it connected. Airplane mode does not need to be set in order for the connection to be made. It's a decision you're going to have to make based on your knowledge and what you're trying to get off the phone. Your knowledge of the case, I should say, and your trust level with this phone being open to the internet and networks. With airplane mode off, you are going to see things in the cloud. If they have things that are going to need or that are in the cloud that you need to see, that you need to record, then airplane mode is going to have to remain off. But your victim is sitting right there with you, or your witness is sitting right there with you. So the chances of them actually, sending a command to the phone to wipe it are pretty slim to none. And like I said, you know your case better than anybody. And if that were your thought process, you probably wouldn't be sitting here with that much trust. So just the thing, airplane mode is a decision you need to be made, that needs to be made. When you hit next, this is where the connection starts. You plug in the device, and it makes sure that the Apple Mobile Detection Service, Apple Mobile Device Services is on, and there that you've established trust with the device and the computer, and then it's ready to go and connected. And you can see Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max, iOS 16.6. So latest, greatest here connected to this device. Again, it's just through your regular charger line or your data line. So best to use the cables with our kit or the cable that came with the phone. Try not to use any knockoffs or anything like that. Just get a really good connection. Destination, where you're going to save it to. Right now I have it saved to the desktop, but I do have a folder on an external device where I should be saving this information, because one acquisition can fill your hard drive. So make sure you're saving it to an external device. And then acquisition name comes up with the device, the operating system, the serial number, and the date and time, but you can change this to anything that you want. And we hit proceed. All right, this is where choices need to be made. Mm-hmm. And you were explaining some of this before. Explain the reasoning here between screenshots and screen recordings and screenshots.
Right. Screen recordings and screenshots on an iOS device is going to use screen mirroring, and it will work on every single device, and it won't require you to put in passwords or Apple iTunes accounts or anything like that. With the screenshots function, the next one along that just says screenshots, on an Apple 16 device, it requires you to put the phone in developer mode, which isn't a big hassle until it asks you for the Apple ID password. I don't know mine. I'd have to go look it up. It also knocks off all the credit cards that you've got saved in your wallet. Really embarrassing when you're in the McDonald's queue and you suddenly realize you can't pay with your phone because you've messed about with it using our software, and you don't have your credit cards in your wallet anymore. And it makes changes that personally I wouldn't want to do. I'm trying to think. We did it this way initially because we hadn't got the screen recording and screenshots to work via mirroring. So it's a bit of this is our old legacy way of doing it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rich. That's why we
Nope.
did it.
Mhm.
Personally, I wouldn't use it. I'd always use screen recording and screenshots. And then acquire and cancel. Acquire means back the phone up, and cancel means cancel. And when we say cancel, we cancel everything. Nothing is left.
Yeah, if you've taken several screenshots or something and you back out, you're going to lose those.
Yeah, there's no recovering.
So
But
let me just step through. If we were to do screenshots,
mhm.
this walks you through the process again, the wizard on how to get to developer mode, how to turn it on this device. So you have to remove the password, you have to put in the Apple ID, and then the phone reboots, turns on developer mode, and you're able to take screenshots. So I'm going to cancel that and come back in. Oop, I did the Google Pixel. Hold on. Stand by. Live TV, folks.
Yeah.
I move too quick sometimes.
Yeah, always do screen recordings and screenshots.
So screen recordings, screenshots, and this is how we get into this. And I'll let you explain that process if you would like.
Yeah, what you need to do is you've got the phone, you've got the passcode, open the phone up, and then follow the steps that we've put there. Basically, if it's iPhone 10 or later or an iPad running iPad OS 13, you swipe down from the upper right corner. Other phones, other devices, you've got to swipe up. And once you've swiped down or swiped up, you open the screen mirroring window, you connect to the computer that you've got the phone connected to. Rich's here is called ADF Mongo. I don't ask why. And that's it. Basically, can you show us the iPhone screen, Rich,
Yeah.
please? Put the iPhone to the camera so that we can see that what is on the.
Yep. So there's the screen that I brought down.
Yep.
So when we first did it, we brought this screen down, selected screen mirroring. It shows you the ADF that you're connected to ADF and the phone name or the computer name. You select that and mirroring starts.
Put the phone up to the camera, Rich. Let's
Oh
see
yeah.
that. Yeah, please. So, yeah, there we go. Gosh, what a tidy desktop you have.
I'm
Cool.
actually a little
Excellent.
embarrassed. There are too many red dots on this phone.
All right. Glad I'm not showing you
Now,
mine.
here, whenever I teach a class and I'm doing this, before I hook up a phone, I always ask the class, who wants to give me their phone for this next section? The only people who ever say yes are the one who have work phones.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like to bring that there. Like if I were to ask anybody out here today that's watching us, hey, let's hook up your phone and go through this, there wouldn't be one person to step forward and say that. So kind of remember that with the person that you're
Yeah.
working with, because
Yeah.
they feel the same exact way. And you may see things that are on that phone that they're embarrassed about. So compassionate policing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry, I took over from there. We're connected. That's the desktop.
Yep.
We
And
can
we
go
can
through a
do,
couple tips and tricks while we're in here as well.
yeah, I was going to say the only, just remember with iPhones, unfortunately, we can't auto scroll up or auto scroll down.
Mhm.
It's not in, we can connect to an iPhone and grab data from it. We can't send instructions to it. That's just a restriction of Apple, I'm
Yeah,
afraid. So if you've got 100 pages of chat, video it or screenshot it, and you're going to have to do it one by one. The good thing about our tool is that we also OCR, so optical character recognition. So we process the screenshots and the videos that we get
yeah,
so that you can word search them afterwards. Now, it's not 100% accurate. OCR never is, but it's a lot better than manually having to read every page you've screenshot or look at everything in the video.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so again, you could start your video process, and the nice thing about this is you're videoing everything. If the user has control of the phone, you're doing that. And if you're not telling them where to go and what to do and how to get, if they need help getting somewhere, but it's their phone, they usually know what they're doing. you have it captured here. So they know it's being videoed, and anywhere they go will be captured. You can also, again, delete. Single screenshot, that's all we have off of this. I didn't quite show it with the Androids, but I usually document all the home screens, swipe left, swipe right, and then swipe up, you get your Android library. So here, Apple is like with all these folders or windows, you could nest and have apps inside of apps and pages and pages. So one of the nice things you can do, oh, I fell asleep here.
Unfortunately, sometimes you get this weird green thing going on.
Yeah, I fell asleep and
It's the
shouldn't have.
phone.
One of the settings is to keep it awake.
Yeah.
It should have been on and I did not do that. So I'm just going to come back in here, establish that connection again. This typically would not happen for you. Again, live TV. So one of the nice things here, you have consent, you're working with them. Maybe you do want to document everything that's on there. One of the things I usually do with the recording, so I have recording on, is I'll swipe, all the lefts and rights. But if you go all the way over, you get to your app library. And if you tap in the app library search box, it brings up your apps. So what's nice about this is it's every app that is on that device, whether they hit it from their home screen or not. You can hide apps from the home screen, so they're not in those nested folders. Nobody can see it on there, but this, for the most part, tells 99.9% of the truth on whether it's on this device or not. And then you can just simply scroll through here and get your log of all the apps that are in here. One of the other tips and tricks that I like here as well, since you have access, this is more not really victim witness, but maybe on the parole side. But what I like to do when I'm looking at a phone is just go into their app store and look what they've purchased. And this will show you whether it's been on the phone. So if they're saying, I haven't been using this app, I haven't been using this app, but you have this sneaky suspicion they have, you can come in here and see if it's been there before. So you can see the cloud, meaning it's been deleted. It's no longer there. If it says open, it's there. Again, this is 99% accurate. You can hide these from here, which would require you going into their Apple ID to see the rest of the apps. I can show that in a minute. Again, apps, scrolling, internet history, settings. If you can bring it up on the screen, you can take a screenshot of that. Security apps, what do you think, Elsa?
Yeah, certainly
Encrypted
things.
security apps.
Yeah, like calculators, for example, is very common for accused people rather than victims or witnesses to have maybe a secret vault full of their pictures that they're not supposed to have, and it will show on the screen as a calculator, or some random, I don't know, hairdressing app or something. So looking at all the apps, just having a quick check, as Rich says, is it likely to be what it says it is? There we have one of these secret calculators. You have to put the pin in.
Yep.
At this point, you would say, okay, what's that? But for victims and witnesses, hopefully they're going to be cooperating with giving you the information that you need.
WhatsApp.
Oh,
encrypted
yes.
apps that typically are harder to get. If you do a logical, you may not get that information.
Yep. And then there's also things like Telegram, that lovely app. You can have secret. In Telegram, you can have things called secret chats. If you open a secret chat and try to do a screen recording of it on iOS phones, the other party sees that a screenshot has been taken, and On Android phones, which Rich is trying to emulate here, you just get a black screen. So just bear that in mind if you have secret chats on Telegram and stuff like that. You're either going to alert other people in the chat that you've got a screenshot, or it's being recorded, or you
Now,
won't see
this
it
is a
at
regular
all.
Telegram,
Yeah,
Telegram
that's a
chat.
Telegram chat. Yeah, yeah.
This is the regular one. So if they are talking on regular encrypted chat back and forth, you can record it. You can, screen mirror. You can screen capture, and it's not going to alert the other side. Snapchat, you need to get something
yeah.
off of there. It's not going to alert the other side. You need to open up banking information or things like that. It's not going to overlay. You should be able to get it on 90%, 95% of what's out there. We found that so far, the only one we're having an issue with is this Telegram secret chat, which happens on iOS. I believe any version, as soon as you start mirroring, it'll say you took a screenshot.
Yep.
Or if you take a screenshot, it'll tell you took a screenshot, but only on the secret chat. Other apps we've been working with, fine. You can do that. Android, the older ones, you can get away with it. So if you're doing undercover work, or it won't notify. But the newer Android apps will turn the screen black, so you can't even see what's on there.
Apart from Android Beta 14, which hasn't fixed that, and that works currently.
And I think iOS 17 preview right now, there's conditions to it. I think if you have it open and start mirroring.
Start your mirroring prior to opening the chat, then it doesn't say there's a screenshot.
And you have to keep it in focus.
Yeah.
The whole time you're mirroring. But again, that's a preview subject to change. All right, let me back out of here. We kind of did that. We explained that if you have Telegram and you know it's not going to be in your logical and they're going to allow you to get a logical, you can add it to it. If you're just if you just want the screenshots, when you're done with it and you process it, it will look something like this when it's done. Date and time that you did it, the profile that we used to process it, again, that's your set of instructions. The statistics, how long it took to process, and processing is basically bringing it in, creating this analysis portion of the tool, and running OCR against the files, which is awesome. Version you did it, and the target devices. So when you're looking at chain of custody with screenshots, I know at least over here, everybody hears the word screenshot and they're like, oh, they sent it to you. They took a screenshot. Everybody knows how a screenshot's done and sent it to you. Nope. Here's the date and time I took it. Here's how I took it. And here's a hash value or that digital fingerprint showing that it has not changed from today until, I don't care if we open it up 3 years from now, that'll be the same. So we come in here and you'll see the groupings. So home screens, you can see I took my home screens. I have the properties, date and time it was taken, device it was taken from. Here's that integrity hash, that digital fingerprint of this file. If this file changed at all, that integrity hash would not be the same. Here's my Kik chats, my password. This is actually cool as well. Little trick, if you had the phone connected and it fell asleep, then you need to get back into it, turn on your recorder, and you can record yourself or whoever putting in the passcode of the phone. And now I have that memorialized. Neat little trick, huh?
Sneaky.
With a video, you get frames, first frame, last frame, 48 from in between, so you get a pretty good idea of what that video contains. You have
we can make
preview,
those frames bigger and smaller as well. Sorry, I meant to say.
Yep. Yeah. So you can zoom in on these if you really wanted to get into seeing exactly what was on each one. And you could, like I said, have them here. Now on this one, there was a chat, and in the chat, my smoking gun was the person, John, made some kind of, I don't remember where it was in the investigation, but John is what's important. So because we ran OCR against it, I can come in here and search for the name John. And you can see here, there's the preview. It says, hey, John, what's up? It's Lex. Thanks for the dog pics. And there in my textual content tab is the word John highlighted in red. Not only that, it's the 7th out of a scroll. So it found the exact, not just the, hey, here's 7 screenshots, it's in there somewhere. It found the exact screenshot that it was in and placed it there for me. If I wanted the context, as Elsa was just saying, I can go to pages and zoom in on my pages and see everything in order. Anything you could bring up on the screen, you can screenshot. So if I wanted properties of a phone, if I wanted metadata, I mean properties of a picture, metadata of a picture, if you could bring it up on the screen, you can capture it. Settings, whatever you are thinking about. What do you think about at this point? Right, we've processed it. You still have the victim sitting next to you. I'm sure they okayed it when you hit OK. Is there a requirement for you to turn this, what you've taken, over to them?
Not as far as I am aware.
Okay.
We could do. I mean, we actually have the facility to create a standalone report, which is it's a complete copy of everything that you've got from them, plus the software. It's license free. So if you wanted to, you could create a standalone report. It has to be given out on a USB writable media. So I suppose you could ask them to bring along a USB stick or a drive or something for you to copy that onto. It's very simple. You just go to report, hit standalone viewer at the top, and that makes a copy of everything. And you change the path to their USB device or whatever they've provided you with, and there you go. So
we can also put this in a PDF. So I may have my report with some of this tagged to be in the report, but if we're going through and being very specific, we pretty much want everything in the report. It would just be a matter of making sure that everything is selected. And I'm just going to rename this PDF here and export that. And I'll give you a view of what it looks like. And this is pretty simple. Not only is it going to be your report, but if you needed to hand it over to them, if there's any requirement for that, this will let you do that. Let me just take that out of view there. Let me go to my desktop. And I named it screens. So a standalone, well, I'll do that one in a second. Let me do the PDF first. All right, so the PDF report, we have our summary page. You want to give them, that's, if you wanted to give it to them, this would be just all the statistics, what date and time it was done, the device it was taken from. And then you can see here all the properties, date and time it was taken, the hash value, and a copy of the screenshot. So very easily, if you needed to present this to them, you can do that as well and say, here's my report, or here's what's in it. As far as the standalone viewer goes, I'm going to close that down in the background here. Go back to my desktop. So you would give them a folder. On that folder, it says ADF viewer. And they would be able to open it without a license. And that's all it shows them is just the same results that you had, the summary page, and all the screenshots that they can go through as well. And it doesn't require them to have a license. They can't connect another device to it. They can't do any scans, but they can just go through it and look at this, if maybe depending on who you're handing this over to. So you have options, HTML, PDF, CSV, and the standalone viewer as well. Anything you could think of at this point that needs to be done or that maybe we missed?
I can't think of anything. I was wondering if anyone wanted to write in the chat if they have any questions.
Yep, there's a questions panel. There's a chat panel. If you have a question, we have a few more. We have like 10 more minutes here. So if you have something, please type that in. Let us know.
Mhm.
Anything you could bring up on the screen, you can capture. As long as there's not some sort of security overlay that they put on, like right now, the only thing we've identified is that Telegram secret chat. Other than that, we're pretty much getting everything that you can think of. And just think about the victims and witnesses that you're dealing with. You should be able to get that information without issue. Nobody's put anything in there.
No
If
questions.
this is
No.
something, no, not yet.
Hit us
If
up
you
for
would
a
like to try
free
this out,
trial. Yeah.
yeah.
Try it. Get a trial. Get a trial. Try it.
Yep.
We're very unusual in forensics companies. We actually do give out free, completely full product, no restrictions for 30 days. Give it a trial. See if it's
Yeah,
going to work for you.
100% fully functional, 100% support. Our support is second to none. It is really the best in the industry. And everybody says I'm not just saying that, but really I'm not, I'm not just saying that. We hear it all the time. So I'm actually parroting what we hear. With that, so any of the conditions that you have now that you have to match, and we do have in the workflow, could the output report be in the guise of a SFR in the UK as well as a DPN ABC?
I have been working with the there's a work group, a Home Office and a police college work group, all about streamline reporting and us being able to export it. The problem we've got is we export to PDF. You can import a PDF into a Word document, but you can only do it a page at a time. So we are working on that so that we can export into Word or equivalent, and then you can import that straight into your SFR template. You can put your logos at the top, your annexes, and all that sort of stuff at the bottom. So yeah, we're working on it. If you ask us for it, tell us that this is something that, you know, I would buy this product if it had X. That's really powerful stuff when it comes to getting our development team to focus their mind on things like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
we are trying. We are trying.
Yeah, now that's a great question. And there is the story to have that consent or DPN form built in. So before you connect the phone, you can fill that information out and have it part of your report at the end.
And if you've got a touchscreen device, the inspector, whoever's authorizing it, yourself, and the witness stroke victim can, you know, sign it as well, and that gets stored along with your case results.
That's a great question. So coming up on the end, thank you, everybody. You all had choices today, and you chose to be with us for the last hour. I really appreciate it. I know Elsa appreciates it. Thank you, Elsa, for being here today and
You're welcome.
leading everybody through this. Great tool. Really helps walk you through the process, makes it easy. So with that, I think we're going to call it a day. What do you think?
Yeah, unless there are any more questions. But
No.
you've got our details. Email us if you've got any. If you're too shy to put stuff in a chat, send us an email.
adfsolutions.com, adfforensics.com, or you have our emails there. All right, everybody, have a great day, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.